Okay, so this is easily one of the easiest engines to pull, to my knowledge. And can you believe this engine is from the 70s? Okay, well actually the entire platform is from the 60s, but that's not the point. Can you believe an engine this easy is that old? That's astonishing. You know, now I'm starting to think, maybe they should make them like they used to. This thing's pretty cool. Let's see how we gut it out. Draining the oil might seem obvious, but some parts of this car aren't. And that's why I've got a list this time. Although I'm not following it 100%. I've actually already done parts of it on my own. It's not surprising, I'm not following the directions. This hardware is what holds on the hinge for the beginning of the throttle mechanism. However, they're all different. I presume they were originally all intended to be this style of Phillips fastener, but there is one bolt-looking thing and one of the craziest screws I've ever seen. Obviously that's not original, and I'm not entirely sure what to do with this. I presume all of this will be replaced by hardware I prefer. Well, I can't figure out how to get the speedometer cable out, so, screw that, I guess. This is the hardware that was holding on the shift linkage. It is entirely unremarkable. These are the tapered pins I was talking about earlier. They're what hold together a majority of the linkages, like the shifter, for example, and a few other parts in this car in various sizes. They're threaded on each end so that a single nut can tighten and loosen them. And it's a pretty great system, provided you don't over-tighten them and strip the threads and get it stuck. I assume they don't build cars this way anymore because it'd be a pain to manufacture so many tapered holes, but all I can say is these are cool, and I'm really happy I have a lathe now so I can, make more because I need them. This is another part of the shift linkage, and you can see every part it was attached to another linkage, it has multi-sized holes for using those tapered pins. I don't know what this lobe is on it yet, but this dampener is obvious. As for what they do, I'm not entirely sure why a damper would be necessary in that position, but I'm sure I will learn as we go along. Depending on your opinion, the final or first part of the shift linkage, as you can see, it's got another one of those tapered holes. But something I didn't cover in my disassembly is actually the switch located in the bottom there, because mine was previously unplugged and I'm missing the wiring harness for it. So I sincerely hope that still works, so I will be able to use it on my new one. But aside from that, it's just held on with those 4 bolts that go through the body. I will break this down later, but I don't intend to service a lot of these parts until it's time for them to go back on. It seems pointless. Each exhaust flange is held on by 2 of these nuts. Normally, I would split the exhaust right about now to give myself extra room up front. But, of course, this car has the farm special exhaust package, so I can't, and I'll have to fix that eventually. This is the engine support bracket. I assume it's there for some structural integrity and vibration dampening. I don't know if that has anything to do with the offset of the engine to accommodate for not having a passenger, but as you can tell, this one is pretty damaged. I assume that is from whatever accident this was in that caused the front of the car to shift around a lot. I'm not sure how I can replace this or if it's even necessary. I will replace those with modern fasteners when it's time to reinstall it. And again, now that I look at it, I realize it was even more messed up than I thought. So I don't know how I'm going to accommodate for the entire front end of the car being bent. I don't know how fixable that is. This is the companion piece to one of the most interesting parts of the Sonett, the transmission firewall mounting system, as seen by this spacer bushing type thing. This bolt goes through the firewall through the bushing and into the back of the transmission, which basically completes the car's third point of securing the engine, transmission, powertrain combo. As you can see, it is also slightly bent from the accident that this car was once involved in. These are the two bolts responsible for holding down the engine, as well as another of the same size that I forget where it goes. For the life of me, I just wasn't able to get the speedo cable out. Can you believe it? We're done. It's astonishing to me to like believe that. I can't believe I've gotten the engine out. And I've got to say, it was so easy. It was easy beyond what I could imagine. I got a lot more respect for Saab now. This whole in and out system is designed incredibly well. I'd like some more areas of constraint, but like, this is fantastic. For once, the boomers on the Saab forums, we're onto something. This car really is a like bastion of repairability. I love it. And now we can see the engine in all of its, 1.7 liters of glory. Not a lot of glory, I know, but still a cool engine. So what's the plan now that the engine's out? Nothing. I'm actually just going to leave it here for the foreseeable future. You see, for me, the tub is the most important part of this restoration. And I gotta finish that first, and then it's gonna be a matter of breaking down all the mechanicals, figuring out what works, putting it back together, wiring harness, aesthetics, yada yada yada. We still have a lot more teardown to do. Gas tank and the entire rear axle assembly, as well as the front suspension, all need to come out. And then there's gotta be a rotisserie or a rollover jig or something, stripping this, fixing it, welding, painting. That's a lot of work. And the engine is going to get saved for a rainy day or when I run out of stuff to do on the main car. That's the current plan anyway.